Okay. For better or for worse, we do have SD-WAN as networking technology in our mix. So the question is, which one is the best one for any given circumstance? And obviously the answer is, well, it depends. I just want to go over some of the more important players in the SD-WAN market. 2017, Cisco Systems acquired a company called Viptela. vBond orchestrator, the vSmart routers. Anyway, this was a $610 million acquisition, which completed in 2017. Cisco was kind of at the forefront of recognizing the potential for this new market segment. Also, Fortinet, we're looking at a Fortinet webpage, by the way. Fortinet had application routing already a part of its platform baked into the hardware. So if you look here, they're a Y and everyone else is a no, meaning they're better. But this is a Fortinet website, so just take that with a grain of salt. This was before Gartner actually classified the term SD-WAN. So Fortinet was doing something called application routing. After SD-WAN was branded as a market by Gartner, Fortinet rebranded their application routing as SD-WAN. No acquisition there. It was just native technology. This year, HPE, or Hewlett Packard Enterprise, purchased Silver Peaks. Silver Peak is the way it's pronounced. Silver Peak has been performing software-defined networking and wide area network technologies for about a decade. And again, once Gartner classified a new market segment and called it SD-WAN, Silver Peak began rebranding their products as SD-WAN as well. This purchase was a whopping $925 million purchase by Hewlett Packard Enterprise, putting them in their minds at the top of the heap of SD-WAN vendors. It is true, Silver Peak has been around for about a decade, so their customer base is probably larger than others. Actually, I don't know. However, if we're talking about 10-year-old SD-WAN, I don't know if that's something you want to brag about. This is a new technology segment. We don't want to be bringing baggage into it. Speaking of that, not on this list, an honorable mention, Juniper Networks recently announced an intent to acquire a company called 128 Networks, which provides a VPN-less SD-WAN solution using something called Session Smart Routing. Their thought is that if most internet traffic is TLS encrypted anyway, why put it inside an IPsec tunnel? You lose bandwidth efficiency and processing efficiency that way. Just leave it encrypted in the TLS and route based on sessions. So that's the 128 technology, which is being integrated into the Juniper Mist enterprise portfolio. Versa Networks is another SD-WAN solutions provider, providing a software-based product that can run on any form of merchant silicon out there. There's a couple of recommendations of hardware platforms that Versa recommends, but it can run on basically any form of merchant silicon or ESXi. Palo Alto Networks also has an SD-WAN solution. Theirs is a bit of a mix. They recently acquired some, I forgot the name of it, but their Prisma solution is hosted in a sort of software as a solution type of approach. So it's a little bit different of the approach. VMware, which you wouldn't think would be in the SD-WAN market, actually has a product which is getting a lot of praise recently. Okay, so the question is, in a given situation, which one is right? Now let me just kind of break these down a little bit. Both Cisco Viptela and Versa Networks have SD-WAN platforms which are sophisticated, complicated, and very feature rich. Those you would probably expect to see in larger enterprises, Fortune 100 large multinational enterprises, possibly government, national government branches would look at something like these. Probably would be overkill for something that was like a Fortune 1000 type of company. Silver Peak, as I said, has been around for a decade, so their technology is very mature. Again, I don't know if that's something that I would brag about in SD-WAN. I think you want something that is new and innovative instead of something that is, in my opinion, legacy. Fortinet, although this is a Fortinet website, the fact that their solution is a part of the hardware ASICs of their appliances is a big plus. Now, on the downside, they don't have something that you could put into a virtual machine running ESXi or KVM and be able to deploy it into a branch office as the other vendors do. It's a physical appliance. Now, Fortinet is working on a solution that might be able to provide something like that, but it's not announced, not available, but maybe at some point in the future. And let's see. Palo Alto, again, the concept of having something that is provided as a cloud service. The thought, I believe, is that because everyone is moving their critical applications to the cloud anyway, that if they could become distinguished as the provider of SD-WAN out of a cloud platform, just because the center of gravity of where technology is moving, they'll become the market leader. I think that's their concept. So that's a summation of the different types of SD-WAN products that are out there. One thing that Cisco has for them with the Viptela is that the legions of technologists that attempt to get a CC whatever certification now must have their teeth cut on Viptela. There's no way to become a CCIE anymore without having Viptela understanding to a very high degree. And those are a lot of the sucker punches that Cisco is throwing on their certification tests, to which I can attest. I've taken 7 Cisco tests over the past 3 years, and the more recent ones, which were released February 2019, are all ripe with Viptela questions. As a result, there's a lot of technologists out there learning Viptela just as a due course of completing their certifications. And the Cisco certifications still hold a great deal of recognition within the networking engineering employment market.